right. Back again. Hello, good afternoon. Michael and Israel here with another Tech Tuesday. Just rolling on along in the heat.
In the air conditioner.
Yeah, I wish we could kind of blow that into the camera. For some of you, if you're sitting out in the shop or whatever, we got ace. I mean, we're living high on the hog in here. So I have a feeling we'll get a few more techs that'll want to come do Tech Tuesday just so they can sit in the air conditioner.
I'm okay with that.
All right, so we've already got one question, and we'll jump into that in a second. I just want to take a real quick reminder that we will be closed this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So if you need parts or if you need oil in particular, get in here now and get it. Otherwise, have a great Fourth, and we'll see on the flip side of that. I know we got a few folks that are calling with last minute emergencies to try and get the boat ready for the Fourth, and unfortunately, I think your chances are pretty slim to none to make that happen. But I know those guys are back there doing the best they can to crank them out. So a few more boats getting picked up for the Fourth. A couple pontoons, I think they're sitting out there. Of course, we got kayaks. So if that price of fuel is getting getting a little unreasonable, then
start pedaling. You can sneak up on fish too.
Yeah. So, all right. Anything else big new?
If you get broke down on the water any time between Saturday and Monday, we won't be there to answer any tech questions or get you. But this is the international distress symbol. So legally, people can't pass you by if they do that.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess you got to have.
They don't have to.
Video
they don't have to tow you in, but they have to at least assist you in getting back. So.
All right. Let's hold on. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Sorry, guys. Stick with me. We're getting to the questions. Well, there we go. All right, Johnny. Could you please explain about ring free for those that may or may not know, and exactly how is it beneficial?
All right, so what ring free is essentially, and in the case we sell ring free plus, and I'll get to what that is as well. But you ever heard of get you some Chevron with Techron, because it's got Techron in it.
Of course, I mean that's
that's the selling point. That makes you feel good because I put Techron in my car. All right, so they got this lovely chemical called Techroline. All right, and every manufacturer has it. Evinrude had it, Bombardier, Mercury's got it, they call it Quick Clean, and then Yamaha has their version. They call it Ring Free. And so what it is it's a chemical that on a molecular level debonds carbon. It doesn't clean it, doesn't scrub it, it doesn't melt it. It just actually takes the bond of that carbon atom and breaks it down off of the metal. So and the reason they call it ring free is because what a lot of the engines have is a problem with that stuff building up behind the rings, and what it'll do is push the rings out, and this is particularly a problem on a two-stroke because you have all these ports all in those cylinders.
Okay.
And if that ring pushes out, and then there's a pin, a locator pin, and it can push the locator pin out too. Pushes that out and make contact with those ports, and what we call clipping a ring. If you clip a ring, all bets are off. So in the case of a four-stroke, it's kind of the same problem. What it does is it creates excess wear on the cylinders. Not only that, along with the two-stroke, there's these cross hatches, in the cylinder that helps, disperse the actual oil. Sorry. And then
now around here it's oil.
We'll go with oil, but it also will decrease your compression. It'll wear the rings. It can wear the oil rings. It can make the rings break.
Okay.
And then on the four-stroke side, you got valves. You got valve guides, so you can build up that carbon deposits on valves, and you can lose compression and have performance problems. And so what the Tetraline does is it helps debond. Now, if you got a really heavy buildup, it's probably not going to help you at this point.
Okay.
But if we have an actual decarbonant that we use here, where we run the engine, we drain the gas out of the VSD, we fill it up, and we pressurize this little tank, and we put this. And I can't even sell it to the public. It's controlled substance, not drug, but chemically. But it'll just blow
that comes out of the other end of the building.
That's right. But it'll just it'll just blow that carbon out of there, and then you start using ring freeze, and ring freeze in Tetraline is more like a maintenance item. It's like you do it, on a regular basis, so that the carbon doesn't ever build up to begin with.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's what. And the Ring Free Plus, getting back to that, Ring Free Plus is Yamaha's got a fuel stabilizer and conditioner, which is good to use by itself. But what they do is put some of that stuff in the ring freeze, so you're actually getting a little bit of stabilizing factors in your fuel as you're using the ring freeze.
And how often do you?
They recommend every tank. A big bottle of that ring free treats up to, I think, 310 gallons. So you get a good bit for your money.
So is that is it one of those, like, let's say you're typical, and this may be a little more for the pontoon boat guys, but I mean, I guess anybody that you get the weekend off, you got a 3-day weekend like we're doing here, and you're probably going to go through a tank and a half a day using it hardcore. Is it one of those, if you use it more, it's less important because you're putting more stuff through, or?
Well, the deal is you're always producing carbon.
Okay. Because
you got an explosion in there, and so anytime you have carbon in the system, it's going to deposit.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And if you use too high of an octane, it's going to build up even faster.
Gotcha.
That's the problem with using higher octane than you're supposed to. And then weather conditions, can also play a factor. So if you're consistently debonding that carbon before it ever deposits, then it's less likely to be a problem down the road.
So keep some in your boat. And
just use it all the time.
All right. Okay.
It sure beats a bigger bill down the road.
Yeah.
All
right.
An ounce of cure, right?
Well, that's
or ounce of prevention.
Yes, ounce of prevention.
It's better than a
spoonful of sugar for your motor. Helps the medicine go down.
That's it.
All right, 2022 90 Yamaha show, experimenting with props. Just replace OEM aluminum with 3-blade Solus. RPMs are fine, but I'm getting prop chatter at low RPM. So we got some additions. Red, this is normal. Do the weight of the prop. As long as it goes away when an idle or high RPMs, no harm. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, especially if you have it on a pontoon boat or an aluminum boat. If you've got it on a fiberglass boat, it's not as pronounced. But I've even noticed on some of our skeeters, the small skeeters with a 150, that and the prop can sometimes have something to do with it. So I put 2 different props. Same props on one of these boats, and one of them chattered like crazy, and the other one didn't. And they were the exact same Yamaha prop. So I would say if it's on a bass boat, a fiberglass boat, it should be less pronounced. You may get it a little bit.
15 foot.
Yeah. So
fiberglass.
Yeah, I would say you should see less of it there, but the Yamaha has produced a hub that has a lot more space in between the rubber and the metal, and it absorbs a lot of that. So Solus doesn't have that design. So Solus is probably going to show that more than the Yamaha prop would. So if you got a place that might let you borrow one of the newer style Yamaha props, that it may take that away. So yes, it is.
Sucks for trolling us. Well, what kind of performance difference are you getting out of the props on that boat, based compared to the stock aluminum prop? So is it worth the issues that you're having at trolling? So
yeah. A lot of times it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm genuinely asking the question. I don't know that. Yeah. Well, and then might be a different hub that would help swapping out.
Well, the problem with the Solus is they're built-in hubs, so you have to kind of get what you get. Don't pitch a fit on that stuff. So.
Gotcha.
And even the Yamahas, the Yamahas are, they're that particular hub. It's easier to replace, but it's still one you got to press in.
Okay. All right. So 33, so 5 miles an hour. All right. Well,
it's significant.
All right. Yeah. Unfortunately, it seems like the trend with props is just kind of trial and error until you find what works the best for you. Which is not a really great, super helpful answer, but
yeah.
All right. Pro tips on finding a small leak in a new boat.
Well,
is that a small leak in a small boat, or a small leak
aluminum boat or fiberglass boat? Sometimes that makes a difference. I'll give you both. I would say the first thing I would do is have a buddy with you, back you in the water, make sure your bilge is dry, dunk it in there, and just sit with a flashlight and look. And typically, you'll see it pretty quick. If you've covered every angle, all your fittings in the back are tight. Live well stuff is tight, and then also check if it leaks with the live well on, but it doesn't leak with the live well off. You could with it. It could be something to do with the live well. So, okay, and then sometimes if all else fails, you have to put water in the boat and make sure the bottom's dry. And I've seen a few times here and there'd be just a super. I mean, you can't even see the hole. It's so small, but a little small hole in the hull on a few boats in my day. And the only way to find it is to make sure the bottom's dry and fill that sucker full of water and start looking for drips. And when I say fill it full of water, I mean probably 6 inches will do. Don't bubble it out the top.
Don't actually fill.
I mean, you can do that. I mean, it just breaks the tongue. It breaks the little jack on the front.
Yeah, that would be especially if you fill the 21 mag up with water. Yeah, that would be heavy. Have we seen
the most common places are fittings, either on the live well or in the back of the boat.
Have we seen any weld leaks?
I hadn't seen any on the Avids. I hadn't seen any weld leaks. I've seen one Avid that had a pinhole in it, and it was, they fixed it. They came, got it, and fixed it, and brought it back. Never had a problem again with it. So, and but out of all the boats, brand new boats that come through here, I would say, we probably find some kind of leak in 60% of them. That something simple, It's just they crank them things out, and sometimes a 18-year-old kid that just got hired last week forgets to tighten the fitting. And that's typically what I see.
All right. Well, hope that helps. If you need more advice or need somebody else to take a look at it, give us a shout. Obviously, I don't know where you are. From the Facebook user name, I'm assuming you're in the Avid group. So lots of great folks there to help.
You're welcome.
All right. This is more of a sales question, but certainly a very applicable question I saw in the Yamaha group. Do you know any places selling a 22 VMAX show 250? First off, let's see. At this point in 2022, if there was a motor that somebody had, it's probably still a 21. But they're not out there. Yeah. That's the short answer.
Skeeter has them.
Yeah, the OEMs are getting, but even then,
That's about it.
Yeah, I think
Skeeter gets pretty much dibs on.
They're talking. I mean, for the big horsepower motors, across the board, it sounds like. I mean, 52 weeks is kind of a number that's getting thrown out there. So,
and that's not always accurate either.
Yeah. So I know
it's shipping containers. That's the problem. It's not that they don't have any. It's the fact that the ships that are carrying them can't get them off and get back to the place that has the motors to get the new ones on. And so it's kind of a deadlock over there in California is where most of them are coming in. So everybody kind of knows now that there's a lot of issues over there with getting stuff through those ports. So.
Oh. Hey, Brandon. Yeah, we're everywhere. So doing the Facebook page, the YouTube, and the Amazon the Avid group on Facebook. I live stream in there as well.
Amazon's got a live stream. We just have to
actually,
promote their product.
Actually, they have started they try to. Sounds like kind of a YouTube.
We can put a shelf right here, put some bait fuel on there, and be like, "Look at this bait fuel."
Yeah,
we like it.
Well, I don't know. As quick as we get that stuff in, it seems to leave. So,
well, that just gives us a reason to live stream on there.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, hey, shame on me. I haven't really looked into live streaming on Amazon, but I know.
Well, most of their stuff, I think it's like they want you to promote something that's on there. So we got plenty of things to promote here.
That makes sense. All right. Here's another one I found in the Yamaha group. Is it normal to have air in these fuel filters, or should it be completely filled? Still trying to chase down an air leak. 03 Yamaha F200.
Okay, I would say it's normal to have some air in there. You can't get it all out. And typically, if you have an air leak, what you want to do is put a clear line in between where you think it might be and make sure it's sealed up, nice and tight. And then you can see the air bubbles come through it. So if you put it in between your tank and your filter and there's no air bubbles, move on. Go from the filter to the motor, no air bubbles, move on, and so on and so forth.
All right. Well, I got one or two more that I thought might be beneficial if y'all don't have any more questions. I'd be happy if you'd hit share and share this on your profile. That'd be awesome. Let's bring this up. Hold on real quick and then we'll get to that one because I think this will be a fairly quick one. Tips on getting this out.
Are we talking about
getting the
key?
Yeah, the key out of the lower unit.
I'll tell you what I use, and it works really well. And most people don't even know this thing exists. But there's this small chisel. If you have a brick house, and that guy if you break a brick or something, you have damage, they got to get one brick out. There's this little masonry chisel, and it's shaped a very specific way that they use to chip the mortar out, and it really works well for that, and that's what I use. So,
all right.
It's got a rounded beveled edge on it and I just sharpen it and I just pop that sucker out.
That sounds terrifying.
It's not.
Gonna put a cavitation plate on a 21FS with the Yamaha XB.
Yeah, I mean you can. It's I'm assuming you're talking about like a hydrofoil, or and it's really what it's designed for. It's like an anti-cavitation plate or anti-ventilation whale tail, but it's a hydrofoil. But I mean you can put them on there.
What are you trying to achieve with that?
Is your boat porpoising or blowing out or coming out of the hole poorly? That'd be the question. That's a good question because it could be.
There may be other ways to solve the problem. or it may be doing something normal. So, what is that cabinet? I mean, what's that plate really designed to do?
Talking about the hydrofoil?
Yeah, the hydrofoil.
It's to keep the prop in clean water. Is really what it's designed to do.
Shallow water hole shot.
I mean, it may. I couldn't. I couldn't tell you it would do you. I'm assuming you got hydraulic jack plate, and you're trying to keep it in clean water. So if that's the case, that would probably help. So I know got a lot of guys that are running tunnel holes that they have this weird huge one, and that's really what it's made for, is to be able to jack that motor up and still be able to get up on planes. So
yeah,
I would just choose it wisely. Do a lot of research before you just buy one.
Which I guess
and they make a nice one that you don't have to bolt anything to. What it does is it's got two different plates. One goes underneath, one goes on the top, and it basically has like 8 bolts on it, and it just sandwiches it. I would prefer that, because if something happens to your lower unit and we send it to Yamaha, they inspect everything now. And if they see like 10 holes in the lower unit, they can be like, well, we're not covering that.
All right.
They've never done that, but they could.
He sounds like a great candidate for the new tunnel hole 21 FS.
Probably so.
So I'm looking forward to seeing how that thing, how much performance it's decreased in terms of ride and top end versus what you get with the shallow water. I know they've got some cool Avid commercials with the slow mo shots and running through the flats and stuff. So looks pretty sweet. All right. What bass boat is recommended for high school tournaments?
Skeeter, Avid, G3, Falcon, and Bass Cat.
I think this is probably we're probably not the ideal guys in the shop to really give like super insightful information, just because we're not.
I guess the question is, are you looking to buy like a new boat or a used boat?
Well, and I'm taking from the 18.5. You're asking like an 18.5 foot boat.
18.5 foot boat, yeah. That Falcon 185 would be great.
Yeah, that's a great boat. Unfortunately, I guess that's the word for it. I mean, you do have plenty of guys running in the high school, league. That they're running the full on 20 foot, 21 foot boats. So when you're talking about blast off, I know that's a concern for a lot of folks.
You're gonna have 3 people in there.
Yeah.
2 kids and an adult. So you have to keep that in mind.
So
because I was watching those guys, I was running some boats, and there's this guy just sweating to death under a black umbrella, and these 2 kids fishing. I was like, man, that seems like fun.
Yeah, I mean, from what we've got, the Falcon 195, that was a great boat when it came out. They kind of, the base setup for that is a, it's a 19.5 foot boat with a 150 horse motor and a single axle trailer.
Talking about the 185?
Well, the 185 came out later, but that 195, Brian Latimer was one of the first guys to run that and still swears, the performance out of that with the 150. The problem that we have and why we stock them with 200s is that over a couple of years, you guys have been selling bass boats around here. The reality is they put a rating plate for 200, and
everybody wants a 200.
Everybody's going to want that 200. So, but the boat performs great. And then the 185 came out. It's a foot shorter. Even with a 115 or a 150, that's a good setup. But obviously, the smaller boat you get, the smarter you're going to have to be. Just like every other application, but. They haven't narrowed down those high school tournaments to limit them to 18.5, 19 foot boats. So you are alongside all the other big guys running big 20, 21 foot boats. But shoot, I've seen some folks fishing them with center consoles.
We had a guy, they come out with a huge Epic boat.
Yeah.
And they were fishing the high school tournament with it.
Yeah. Well, I've depending on how serious you are, and obviously, it's come a couple of different groups of folks that fish those tournaments. You see a pretty large number of dads that aren't the hardcore tournament anglers, and their kids have gotten it into, and so, something like the Avid, that 21FS that we were just talking to the other gentleman about, 21, 23, is a versatility family boat. It's easily fishable. I mean, depending on how serious your kid is on competing, obviously it will not replace a bass boat for bass fishing, but it's got good deck space. You can put a trolling motor up there. You can put the electronics. It's a more versatile boat when you're not fishing those high school tournaments. So, I mean, I would say the other very broad statement would be whatever is the best you can afford.
And it has a really comfortable driver's seat.
Yes. Yeah, because
you're going to be sitting in there a lot.
And reliable. I will take an opportunity to make a plug for us. We do offer a discount for boat captains for service and stuff like that. So, and the kids get discounts in the tackle shop and stuff. So,
that's right.
But if you want more in-depth thoughts, give us. You can give us a call or give us a shout out, or grab when I'm on. We're doing a live actually tomorrow. Tomorrow morning we're doing a live with Scott Canterbury on Logan Martin. So I'm going to be in the boat with Scott and Dano, and that's those guys can also bring a ton of from the fisherman's perspective. A ton of experience and insight into kind of what's going on in that stuff. So I hope that's a lot to not feel like I really gave much of an answer, but hopefully it helps.
You did your best.
Yeah. So, all right. What's the last question I've got? Is going to be a twin 2008 225, just out of the Yamaha group. I get the importance of the engine alarms and do not want to get rid of it. Any tips on how I can muffle the sound a little? So this question I pulled not necessarily because it's about the twin.
Absolutely, fix whatever's causing the alarm. That is.
That's the best way to muffle the alarm.
Yes, let's find out why it's there. Because there's a reason it's there. Now, I will say this, if I've noticed that some people have put a Yamaha on their boat and they left the mercury controls and the mercury harness anyway, and put some kind of an adapter on there, and that Yamaha horn it's got like a circuit board in it, and it probably has some diodes in it and some capacitors and some whatever. And it's made to do different things for a reason. And if you use just a mercury or an Evinrude horn, that horn will go off all the time, just about half decibel. And then if you got a regular alarm, it goes up even higher. Because I had a boat in there the other day doing that, and he had some tape over it. So, yeah. Okay. But if you don't use the right warning horn in Yamaha, it will sound all the time. So I don't know if this guy's having the same problem or not.
Yeah, I'd fix the problem.
Yeah, fix the problem.
The bottom
if you
line.
really don't care, if you don't care, then you can put a piece of tape over the hole.
Just probably throw an extra savings account to shell some money into to fix whatever more dramatic problem occurs because you ignore the alarm. So,
possible.
All right, guys, we are going to get out of here. I appreciate all the questions, and I truly hope it's been helpful. Again, we are closed this weekend, so if you are around here and you need parts, oil, tackle, whatever, if you're going to plan to spend the time this weekend on a little project in the shop, get down here Friday at 5. We will close, and we will not be open again until next Tuesday. But as always, please be safe, especially 4th of July weekend. A lot of stupidity occurs on the water, and we don't want you guys to be a part of that. We want to see you back back out on the water the next week. So be safe out there. Enjoy the fireworks. Happy Independence Day.
And get your pet spayed or neutered. Oh, that's a different show.
No, that's that. Yeah, that's later. So, all right, guys, y'all have a wonderful afternoon and a great week and a great weekend, and we will see you on the next one.